I'm going out on a limb, but I think it is a dirty sweatshirt type of job. The drain plug is 1 inch and 1/8. She's full. This one always made me mad. With the bottom of the shock free, we're gonna move into the engine bay. We're gonna use some 30 mil wheel spacers. Hello, my Rover friends, and welcome to the Lucky 8 channel. In our last video, we took a walk around on this Discovery 1 to see if it was worth saving or we should scrap it. There was a few things that we need to take care of, but it also has good bones. Left it up to the community, and the community demanded, didn't even suggest, demanded that we save this truck, so that's what we're gonna do. In today's video, the goal is to just be able to get it together enough to start driving it around and see what other mysteries are there that we may or may not need to fix. And one last thing about this truck, I've got an amazing, actually Eric's idea, but I'm gonna steal it. I got an amazing idea of an adventure we can do with this D1, and you guys will all be invited. Cue the intro. In order to get the Disco up and running enough that we can drive it down the road without John Q. Law asking too many questions, we got to address a few things. We're gonna do an oil change. God knows when it was done, so we want to take care of that. We don't want to lose the motor. We're gonna finish the job with the spark plugs. We're gonna do plugs, wires. Since we're in there, we're gonna do an air filter. At least that way the core elements are good to go. I'm gonna throw a front bumper on it. Of course, we're gonna put a winch bumper on it, put a winch in it. We're gonna do the steering bars. The tie rod heads are shot, so we're just gonna replace them with heavy duty Terra Firma bars. I'm gonna put wheel spacers on it because the pizza cutters make me nuts being so far under the fender, so I'm hoping that we can save money by not buying new tires. Just push the existing KM3s, which is a great tire, push that out. And then finally, we're gonna put some shocks on it. The front one's leaking, the back ones don't match. It's gonna make me mental that the shocks don't match. I know it doesn't really matter, but it does in my head. All right, let's get this car up in the air, oil changed, wires done, just the basic maintenance, and I'm gonna charge the battery so it might even start on its own. I'm going out on a limb, but I think it is a dirty sweatshirt type of job. I'm just guessing, a little oily under there. Let's get this thing up in the air. This Disco 1 goes back to the old days when Land Rover believed bigger was better. The drain plug is 1 inch and 1/8. This thing is ridiculously big. Let's take a look at this oil. Nothing particularly bad. Looks like used oil. There's no metal in it. So far, so good. We'll keep going. Since we're in the mindset of doing fluids, I'm gonna check the front diff, rear diff, the beloved manual transmission and the transfer case, making sure there is good, clean diff fluid in there. If not, we'll just replace it. Woo! She's full. And, well, you can't see it on my gloves, surprisingly clean. Same thing back here, nice and clean and filled to the top. Love it. No metal, looks clean, but is there any fluid? Really, I'm surprised. They went with, so there's two options on these. You could run 80-90 weight, which is what I always did, or automatic transmission fluid. And they opted for the auto fluid. I'm gonna drive it around and see what I think about that. I'm an 80-90 guy. That's just how I roll. I'm not gonna lie, my friends. This one always made me mad. There's the cable for the e-brake, but you gotta get your ratchet. You can't even see it. It's buried behind the exhaust. And you gotta ratchet this little plug out. Oh, I always hated this one. And I'm getting covered in dirt. The guy that owned this said he never took it off-road, but I'm starting to think he might have fibbed. Nice and clean. Is there any fluid? Let's play the fluid bingo. And I don't even know if you can see it in the camera, but that is clear. They must have just done the service on this, so saving me time and money. Thank you. With the Rover in the air, I'm gonna take this opportunity to change out the steering bars. The factory steering bars are made of dust. They bend like a taco. The guy must have been an amazing driver because they're still on there, but every one of the tie rod end boots are ripped, torn, cracked. So we need to get them off, and I'm gonna replace them with the Terra Firma heavy duties. With the steering arms all tightened up, double, triple check. The nuts are all tight and the jam nuts are tight. You've got your steering bracket on. It is now time to install your steering damper. I'm gonna use a new Terra Firma one, but depending on the condition of your old damper, you may wanna use that. All right, hop on under, let's get this installed. All right, guys, steering is done, already looking better, and I noticed something under the car. I think I might have found a problem. We know the muffler has a hole in it, but it seemed like I was also getting an exhaust leak. These vehicles are notorious for headers cracking, but it looks like we are missing. That stud's completely gone. The nut's gone from that stud, and that one's using a lot of washers. I'm pretty sure that's where my front exhaust leak is coming from. That'll be an easy fix, but I'm gonna save that for a different day. Since we got the car in the air, I'm gonna pop off the lower shock mounts, 1, 2. Something you should be aware of, When you do that, that's actually retaining the axle. So the axle is gonna wanna drop down. We got our steering bars on there, but you know what? I'm probably gonna put a jack stand under it just to be extra special safe. Let's get these shocks off and replace them. With the bottom of the shock free, we're gonna move into the engine bay, take off the shock tower. It's held on with 4 bolts. I like to break loose the shock if it can to get it free of the tower, take the tower out, take the shock out, rinse and repeat. But on this side, driver's side, we need to pull the air box to access it. So before we put it back in, we'll put in a new air filter. Ooh, look at me. Long travel. With the shocks installed, it's time to put the air box back in, but before I do that, I'm gonna just swap out the rest of the wires and do the plugs real quick. Then we'll put the air box together, the front will be done, we can get the rear shocks in. Starting to come together. With all the wires in place, I'm gonna take an opportunity to clean out the intake hose here and the upper plenum, get a little bit of cleaner in there. Sometimes the throttle body gets sticky, and then we'll gently, carefully clean out the mass airflow sensor. Ooh, lucky. With the front of the Rover all set, let's move on to the rear shocks. In order to fully access the rear shock, we need to pull the tire. I'm gonna pull all the tires real quick, that way we can put the wheel spacers on at the same time. Woo! I am very happy that the rear shocks are so much easier to get in and out than the front. Simply 2 nuts and they come right out. Oh, I spoke too soon. This one's got rear AC, so I gotta get a ratchet in there, but it'll come out pretty quick. Now that the suspension is sorted, let's move on to the front bumper. It's a pretty basic install, essentially 4 bolts to the frame, and we'll have this on. We can drop the winch in, start to put the whole truck together. We're almost to the end. This is what yours should look like with the bolts in place. All right, with the bumper firmly attached, it is time to set in the winch. I'm gonna route these cables and bolt this down, and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, now that we have the winch firmly in place, the wiring routed, I'm gonna start putting together the front of the Rover. I'm gonna start with the grill, and now that we have the winch here, we're gonna have to massage the plastic. In other words, we're gonna cut it. I'm gonna get out my favorite tool, the Sawzall, get that done, and we'll start right there. It is really starting, whoa, I got bit. It is really starting to look like a Land Rover. I'm gonna drop the brush bar on next. Wow, this car is turning into something that I want to drive. Let's get the wheels on next. I want to bring the tires out, the wheels out a little bit further, help it line up with the body. I don't like that look when they're inside, but they are KM3, so we don't want to change out the tires. We're going to use some 30 mil wheel spacers from Terra Firma. But before I put them on, I am going to clean all this mud off. I don't know how that happened for a guy that never took it off-road before me, but we're gonna get it cleaned up. It is definitely coming together. I am excited to drive it. Let's get it outside and see how she does. Driving the D1 5-speed down the road. First thing I notice, we got an exhaust leak. Gonna need to address that. Second thing I've noticed is this shifts super smooth, especially into second gear. I know second gear on these boxes tend to get real clunky and chunky, so happy about that. It's tracking straight down the road. The brakes, yeah, the brakes need attention. I don't know what the deal with that brake booster was, why it's zip tied there, but I'd put that on the list of things I want to change. I also saw a bunch of spare brake parts in the car, so I'm assuming calipers are in its future. But aside from the exhaust noise and the inability to stop, she's a runner. I don't know if you guys can hear that squeak on the steering wheel. All right, guys, only 2 more things left to do. Hope I get home without it breaking down, and follow for more Rover content.